Hi everybody, this is going to be covering the free exercise section of the discussion module. The exercise I've chosen to demonstrate will be a wrist extension. For my initial exercise, I'll be using a 5-pound kettlebell. In the text, it's demonstrated with a barbell, but due to the availability of exercise equipment, I'll be sticking with a kettlebell for this demonstration, and we'll be performing it unilaterally on the right arm. So the starting position is in a seated position, sitting forward. My legs and my toes are going to be pointed forward during the performance of this exercise. Shoulders and everything shoulder width apart, hips, knees, all those points of reference are going to all be lined up. I'm going to be holding the kettlebell or the barbell, whatever you're using, with a pronated closed grip, just a regular grip here. You're going to lean forward so that the arm is resting on the knee, and the wrist is just going to be hanging over the kneecap right here. The starting position is going to be with the wrist in flexion. So the wrist is just going to be relaxed like this. And then to perform the exercise, you're going to keep your forearm in contact with the thigh. When you're lifting up, you don't want a space to appear between the forearm and the thigh. You're going to keep the forearm in contact with the thigh throughout the exercise. And you want to stay in this position. You don't want to lean back. That'll involve some other muscles across the shoulder, and we really want to be specific in targeting forearm muscles that are just crossing the elbow and the wrist. So for this first rep, what we'll do is we'll start here, and then we're going to move the wrist into extension through as much range of motion as is available, and then slowly lower back into the starting position. And so again, extending as far as possible without losing contact with the forearm and thigh, really just trying to isolate that wrist motion. You want to control the wrist being lowered to really get that good eccentric loading on the wrist extensors, and that's a really nice exercise. All right, so that's that, the baseline exercise. We'll start with a regression of this exercise. There's a couple ways you can regress the exercise. One would be add an additional surface here. So when performing the exercise, so we're in our starting position, it seems to be a little bit closer. We're bringing the wrist into extension. Then we'll actually place it on there and reset the exercise. That regression eliminates the eccentric phase, which may be useful if somebody is having a lot of pain with this exercise. Eliminating the eccentric phase would lessen the difficulty of the exercise. Another regression we could do, another easy one, use a lighter weight. Or if somebody's really painful, and this is going to be more appropriate in rehabilitation type settings, is just having you do some self range of motion here. And that's going to be about as regressed as you're going to get doing this exercise. But again, that's going to be common in rehabilitation settings. So those are the regressions for that exercise. A real simple progression would be use a bigger kettlebell. But you could also add some variable resistance by using an exercise band. So for this one, the band is actually going to go under my foot. Again, same grip, pronated grip, a little bit of tension on the band at the beginning. And then, again, same cues, keep the forearm in contact with the thigh, just past the patella there. And then trying to get that full range of motion there with the wrist extension. And with the band, you get a really nice variable there with variable resistance for the exercise band. So that's that first exercise here. A good reason you would perform this is especially eccentric training. It's really good for for things like tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, any pathology involving either the flexor or the extensor muscles. Really focusing on strengthening of those muscles can be really good for preventing injury for athletes who are going to be participating in a sport that uses a racket such as tennis or golf, or another sport that relies heavily on gripping and grip strength. All right, thank you guys.